was inspired by the Latino in America documentary. And I think as we were looking to this election year, 2016, we realized that a lot of the conversations that were happening were, and I think it's been a pretty chaotic election anyway, but are all about issues that are not necessarily the primary issues of importance for Latinos. We thought there was an opportunity to have a conversation with Latinos about these issues that maybe they weren't going to get from the presidential candidates. And I think the word is pandering. Everybody tries to figure out how do I best leverage and / pander to an audience. And I think the road to hell is paved with missteps that every candidate has had. We'll talk about it tonight, actually, in our Latino in America tour. Specifically Hillary Clinton and not my abuela, right? Because you do something that's so obvious. My guess is that some campaign person thought it up as an amazingly genius marketing tool, and it backfired massively. Again, I don't think that makes or breaks a campaign. I think it shows that it's a very difficult and different year than 4 years ago, and the Latino vote is one to be lost, frankly. It's sort of hard to say, right? Because there's no control. There's no, well, before I was Latina, back when I was a man, things were so different. So it's kind of hard to say. But I'll tell you, things have really changed. When I started working in television news, I think that there was definitely a sense where it was very clear people would change their names. In fact, I remember being asked if I would change my name because Soledad would be too hard to say. That's literally what the guy said.
Oh no.
Our audience won't understand you, which is so funny. Like, really? My English is so strong. And that's completely changed. I think now, certainly newsrooms are looking for people who really can bring their full selves, if you will. And yet, if you actually look at the numbers, in terms of the number of Latino journalists, the number actually hasn't changed very much at all. I think it's up 1%. And overall, the numbers were always horribly low, right? So an increase of a really tiny number is still a pretty tiny number. So it's depressing. I don't think it's really changed. I think, there's so much in the culture about Latinos, and yet there's so little in the news about Latinos that's not crime, that's not immigration, that's not terrible. What inspires me, actually, and I think Vivala is a really good example of it, is just people doing their own thing, right? Like, everyone has stopped saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the day that they decide to have a Latina, who can, sit next to Anderson and anchor the show, right? People are done waiting, and they say, actually, I have a really good idea. I think I have a platform. I think I have an opportunity. I'm going to get some folks to underwrite it, and I'm going to go create a business. And I think we're seeing that over and over and over again. I certainly, cheer when my colleagues like Rosa Flores at CNN, who's traveling with the Pope right now, who's making news like crazy since his comments about Donald Trump have gone a little viral. So she's busy. But it would be nice to see, to not just say, oh, my friend Rosa, but have a list of 10 or 12 really great, a plethora, binders full of Latinas who we could say are killing it as reporters. At this moment in time, vote if you care, vote. I really can't take people who complain about where America is, or who has opportunities or who doesn't have opportunities and don't bother to vote. We really have to, especially now when there's a Supreme Court justice position open, when there's so many things at risk. It's really important, and I don't care who you vote for, just make sure that you leverage what you should do as a citizen of this country and vote.